Witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie. Jesteśmy w Nowym Jorku. Przed chwilą byliśmy na Union Square w samym centrum Nowego Jorku, gdzie rozpoczęliśmy demonstrację przeciwko obostrzeniom związanym z COVID-19, obostrzeniom nielegalnym, kryminalnym, obostrzeniom wprowadzonym przez burmistrza Nowego Jorku de Blasio i gubernatora stanu Nowy Jork Como. Te obostrzenia są nielegalne, niekonstytucyjne. Zebrało się tutaj setki ludzi. Przyszliśmy z Union Square na Washington Square, które jest w środku miasteczka uniwersyteckiego NYU. Przed chwilą spaliliśmy maseczki. Cała akcja została zrobiona spalenia maseczek. Ludzie zdejmowali, zrywali te maseczki, wrzucali do ognia. No i tutaj cała akcja będzie trwała jeszcze przynajmniej przez następną godzinę albo dwie do godziny czwartej. My reprezentujemy nowojorską Polonię. Polonia United, nasza organizacja, ma tutaj, przyszło nas kilkanaście osób, reprezentujemy nowojorską Polonię. Polska flaga jest jedyną flagą mniejszości etnicznej na tej demonstracji. Podobnie zresztą jak było w Waszyngtonie tydzień temu. A ja wszystkich zapraszam do obejrzenia materiału oraz zapraszam również do udziału w następnej demonstracji przeciwko obostrzeniom związanym z COVID-19. No more masks! No more masks!
Burn the mask!
Burn the mask! Burn the mask! Burn the mask!
And then you're gonna say, love it.
Beautiful, beautiful. I can make love to this. I can't believe it.
And then we get the stage.
I'm so happy. All right, beautiful. Yeah. Burn the mask. 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 Burn the mask! Burn the mask! Burn the mask! Burn the mask! Burn the mask!
I want to burn the mask. Bring it on over. Burn your mask.
Song of comfort. World weary, don't know where to turn. That can't be torn away. This too shall pass. The time is near at hand when we'll live as one at last. This too shall pass. On the river below, oh, we're gonna flow like that river, you know.
Jesteśmy teraz na Union Square w Nowym Jorku, gdzie jest protest dla wolności. Ludzie się zbierają, żeby powiedzieć, co czują i co myślą. A dzięki Bogu mamy piękną pogodę i bardzo mnie to cieszy, że zobaczyłam nowych znajomych, bo nie wiedziałam, że to będą Polacy i bardzo się cieszę, że Was spotkałam. Jestem z moim chłopakiem dzisiaj. Zawsze jak już są protesty, to ja się pojawiam, dlatego że chcę, żeby wszyscy wreszcie żyli jako united i byli szczęśliwi, zdrowi i niezależni. Także bądźmy pozytywni, dobre czasy nadchodzą, będzie lepiej niż myślicie, ale będzie lepiej i Trump niedługo wraca. Dzień, gdzie można powiedzieć, że się chce być wolnym i nie być w masce, nie nosić, nie mieć żadnych wakcyn, żadnych szczepionek, szczypawek, jak to zrobiłem niektórzy. No, not me. Oh, good. Don't give up the fight.
Who's telling lies, try to make their children cry, but we know it's all a lie. What's here in New York is really natural. What the education cartel is doing to our children, what the banking industry is doing to us, is controlling every aspect of our lives. What the millionaire profits look like the medical. I have the pleasure, because I've been given the duty, to probably introduce they're a modern day slave.
All right.
Give them a name, man. You gotta give them a name.
All right.
You gotta give them. You don't give them a name, they can hide.
All right.
So when you see somebody that looks like me, saying, "Oh my God, take me back to," but I don't know what it's in it, but they're paying me well. They are modern day slaves.
All right. All right. All right. That's what happened.
It is such a gift to guide them and give them the information that to provide them information, but that's really up to them. They want
Cindy Ragusa for being vicious. I'm like, okay, maybe you can say I'm vicious, but Cindy is like the most polite person, or Forrest is mealy mouth.
I don't know, but I just feel like
And Reggie is just.
The e-government digitalization solutionism that was birthed out of NYU's GovLab and Harvard Kennedy School. No. We see you. We see you, you data-driven policy wonks and Google analysts who aim to steal our...
I was asked again to pray, and this time I haven't been able to come up with a prayer because I don't think a prayer is the most fitting. I think a declaration is. I think a blessing is. I think an invocation is what we need for God to show up and help us fight this ridiculous war that we've been thrust into. I woke up yesterday morning with the Bee Gees song, How Deep Is Your Love, running through my head. God often speaks to me in songs, and so I looked up the lyrics. God is funny, y'all. Here is what he wanted to tell me through a 1970s British pop group. How deep is your love? 'Cause we're living in a world of fools, breaking us down when they all should let us be. We belong to you and me. I think God is wanting to tell us his love. Yeah, Bee Gees! I think God is wanting to tell us that his love for us is deep. We're the ones on the tower watching the enemy advance and trying to wake everyone up around us. So I'm going to close with Isaiah 52. I think God is proud of us, guys. I think he is pleased with our fight for freedom. Isaiah 52. Awake, awake. Clothe yourself in strength. Clothe yourself with beautiful garments. Shake yourself from the dust. Rise up. Release yourself from the chains around your neck, captive daughter. For this is what the Lord says. You were sold for nothing, and you will be redeemed without money. And now, what do I have here, declares the Lord? Seeing that my people have been taken away without reason. Those who rule over them howl, and my name is continually reviled all day long. Therefore, on that day, I am the one who is speaking. Here I am. How delightful on the mountains are the feet of those who bring good news, who announce peace, and who bring good news of happiness, who announce salvation and say, your God reigns. Listen, your watchmen raise their voices. They shout joyfully together, for they will see with their own eyes when the Lord restores. The Lord has bared his holy arm in the sight of all nations, so that all the ends of the earth may see the salvation of our God. You who carry the vessels of the Lord will go before you, and the Lord will be your rear guard. Amen.
Defund the politicians! Defund the politicians!
Need to be very imaginative, very creative, and hone in on our intuition. We already have, and we have to continue strengthening our intuition and supporting the intuition of others. So we're all one family. We are all one family now.
Yvonne is next.
So when I grew up in Poland, everything was regulated. Everything was controlled by the government. Your fate was controlled by the government. You basically had no civil liberties. So when in March, it's so funny because in March we had these toilet paper shortages, remember? Well, when I saw the toilet paper shortages, I kind of knew what was going on in the big lines, because I grew up with toilet paper shortages and big lines. So when I was growing up, I had in my classrooms, I had all the indoctrination. I had Lenin pictures on the wall, and we were supposed to worship him. So, and I also I also experienced martial law, which was introduced in Poland in 1981, when the General Jaruzelski announced it, and we started having these restrictions. So what I want to say is that it would be great if you could look at the principle of communism and see what's going on right now, and if you could connect the dots, because it's hard for me to believe that what I experience in Poland, what I experience in Poland, I see it here right now. The government telling you to wash your hands, the government telling you to wear masks and telling you basically what to do. So when I saw these pandemic task forces on TV and the government in your face 24/7 almost at the beginning of this pandemic, I knew that we are actually, it was a resurgence of fascism, communism, and all these evil cults. So during martial law in Poland, we had a lot of restrictions, just like we have restrictions right now. So it's all a basic deja vu for me. We could not travel. Travel was restricted. There was curfew. We had to show our papers if we went outside, and I believe the martial law lasted for a year or two. So I see it right now. You were discouraged from participating in church ceremonies. Basically, God was outlawed. So you were not supposed to go to church or send your children to religion classes. And propaganda. Okay, so the first casualty of communism, and that's what happened in Poland, was truth. Truth is the first casualty of communism. So when I saw YouTube being scrubbed and all this censorship blowing up like crazy, and we know right now actually I'm in Facebook jail, like who isn't, for posting some stuff. So so censorship is a big part, a major part of the communist regime, and come on, you can't deny it. I mean, it's going on right now, and if you think that this is going to go away, you are delusional. We have to stand up. We have to fight this tyranny, because I can tell you from my experience, socialism, communism does not work. Whenever they try to implement it, these beautiful, fluffy ideas, it just didn't end well. It ended with arrests. My friends in Poland in the 80s were arrested. People disappeared from their homes. My friend's father was a history teacher. He didn't want to teach history according to the propaganda and the indoctrination. He taught real history. Guess what happened? They came to his home at night. They arrested him. And this is what's awaiting us if we don't stand up. You know, now we have censorship on social media, but mark my words, if we don't stand out, they will come to your home. I really think that this might happen. So thank you so much for being here. And my beautiful friends,
You should also know that in Poland they're very funny that you couldn't get a passport. You couldn't leave the country. This is happening. It's coming here. Just stand up for your rights, beautiful people. You know what freedom fighter.
And I want to just stress one thing. How did Polish people survive for so many years? So this is the lesson that maybe we could learn. Polish people were very resourceful. We helped each other. just like we are helping each other right now, people were banding together and they were standing up against the tyranny, and that's what we have to do. That's our mission. So I hope to see more events, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening.
One more time for Yvonne. Yvonne, we love you. Yvonne is the heart and soul of what we're doing, what we've been doing for months and months, and we're going to continue to do until this is all over.
Cancer. My mom confronted the doctor, but the doctor never apologized. He just changed the medicines and went to support the concepts of medical freedom and choices in treatment, and to respect individuals' choice of bodily autonomy. I don't want. We are human beings. We have inalienable rights, no matter our color, our creed, our abilities. At a time where even the New England Journal of Medicine stated in April 2020, we know that wearing a mask outside healthcare facilities offers little, if any, protection from infection. And according to John Hopkins, according to Gary Null in his book, Death by Medicine, medical is thinking critically as it's part of what I believe our souls are here to do. Think outside the box. To me, this has never become more important than it is today. My point is that there seems to be no or little accountability when it comes to pharma-induced death. Even today, with the Nuremberg Code, this has to stop. And I do wonder if the shot has been tested on people with neurological disabilities like me. I have yet to see any documentation that it has been. I think that to have a pass, quote unquote, to be able to access community events like the Excelsior Pass.
My choice!
My body!
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 My choice!
I love you guys so much. Injured by medical professionals, and I have a desire to seek justice for those people.
Are not even claimed to be subject to coronavirus. They're not even claimed to be subject to it. And now, the vaccine of children when they have no problem with coronavirus. These things are so many different topics. We need to cover them all. We need to cover them all and make it very clear. Everything is off the rails. Everything is off the rails. This is insanity. And the fraud that they started with, they didn't test for serious illness, it doesn't transmit, and the fraud that they're going to continue with, they're going to do all the vaccines.
They're 95% effective at doing nothing. 95% effective at doing nothing. It's preposterous. It is such a gigantic fraud that, you know what, the people in this city and all around this nation need to rise up and take these phonies off the stage. A small, seemingly small minority of people can do it, and we will. Get rid of them. I got one more scheduled speaker, then we're going to open up to speaking. We have somebody here running for city council, and we're going to go give people. Matt, can you come on up? Matt from Free Citizens of New York. Citizens for a Free America. Thank you.
So few in this city are seeing what's actually happening, and it's you all know the tug at your heart. What that's like. Every day I look out on the city and I go, oh my God, what happened? How did this happen? How did this occur? And it's a nightmare. It's a living nightmare. This living nightmare has come to fruition, brought on by the string-pulling ghouls on their demonic depopulation mission. That's a line from a song I just wrote. You guys will be seeing that soon. It's called Wave of Freedom. Anyway, I've been in the health field for 30 years. I wrote a book called The Way Out, Disease, Deception, and the Truth. Nobody ever gets well from a poison injection, period. How is it possible that poison injections are a huge part of our society? I mean, I'm hoping one day that people who sleep, that most people are walking around in with their phones and all of the information and misinformation that they're constantly being bombarded. It is George Orwell come to life. I can't tell you how many times I felt like just bringing a hammer on the train and just smashing the crap out of these signs. And I know you've all felt the same thing. Because you see people, you see people just unknowingly absorbing all this misinformation that's going to end up killing them and their family members. And it's happening right now. And I honestly, nobody knows. We are in new territory right now when it comes to the danger of these vaccines. Everybody knows that these vaccines are causing blood clots. They're causing blood clots. Nazis at prison camps doing scientific experiments on the prisoners. At the end of the war, are you listening, Poza? People ask more questions about buying a refrigerator or a car than they do about the vaccine. Idea what's going into their body. That is not informed consent.
Mercury poisoning. If you do not have mercury poisoning, you don't express syphilis or Lyme disease, by the way. Okay? Disease is caused by nutritional deficiencies or by toxins. Again, you think this government cares about you? They didn't care about people in 1907 or 1929 when they sent millions of people to die in war or starved them. They don't care about us now either. You think that Bill Gates, an open eugenicist suddenly cares about the world with a vaccine? He has openly said we should use vaccines to cut the population by 10 to 15%. What he really meant was 10 to 15%, right? No one talks about that because we're not allowed to talk about that.
Thank you. You're welcome. This is
The Jews here come and banning any of those things because they don't care about our health at all.
Thank you.
Okay? Why do you think you're reading in the paper about the quote Chinese virus? Because they want to start war with China. Okay? And the Chinese also need to start war themselves because again, how are they going to deal with the unemployment problem? Where am I going with this? My point here is that we need to. In 1993, they forced smallpox vaccine that contains syphilis to cull the population. Believe that these vaccines are meant to cull us too. Also have a pamphlet on the masks. Contact me. All right, thank you so much.
That was great. Lie! It's been totally debunked for 9 months. Ever since Maria Karkova came out in the World Health Organization last July saying asymptomatic transmission is very rare, unquote. That meant it didn't happen at all. Then the whole reason for this has been totally debunked. That was the second layer of lies. Then they started with the PCR tests. The third layer of lies. How many cycles did they run? We have to remember these things because as you go out there, there's so much information. But the fact is there are certain cardinal points that people must understand. We're going to take Pat now for a few minutes.